Hey, what's up? Um, it's only been a few hours since the last time I blogged and made a video, but something just came over me that I just feel like I should share with you. Something that it just changed me when I realized that no one was coming to my rescue. And I realized that no matter how hard I prayed, that I had to get up and do something myself because my mom always taught me that God only helps those who help themselves. So when I help myself, then I can look for the help of God. So I decided to get up and clean up the house as best as I could. And while doing that, I realized that when in times of depression, in times of, bad luck or when things are not going your way, get busy, keep it moving. And that has a whole new meaning to me. Keep it moving, to stay constantly busy doing something because when you're busy, you're not thinking about the problem at hand. What you're doing is you're putting yourself and you're occupying your mind. And better to occupy your mind with something that's constructive rather than occupying your mind with fear. And I found that while I was keeping myself occupied, ideas started to come in my head. And I remember my mom and my grandmother telling me always when I was a little boy that cleanliness is close to godliness. And and so the opposite of that mentality is that dirtiness or filthiness is next to devilishment. And if I want, the good principles of God or just good principles to come into my life and good circumstances and results to come into my life, that means I have to do something good. And I started by cleaning up the house. And in cleaning up the house, I just felt a little bit better. My girl's at work, so that's going to be a plus when she comes home to see the house straightened up. And just a word for the wise, if you're a guy at home and your girl is working and you're not working, it wouldn't hurt to make sure that the bed is made and the dishes are washed and the house is tidy while she's gone. Or if you're a female and your dude works and you stay at home, clean up, straighten up. Um, it'll make the situation better. It'll make them feel like you just wasn't home sitting on your ass. And that's like the worst because I've been in the opposite situation where I worked and I had a girlfriend who was home and I came home and the house was just the same way I left it. And it made me feel like, what did you do all day? And you slept all day, you chilled all day while I was out working. And that, whether if they say something or not, it's going to be in their mind sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? If you hear anything in the back, that's Aaliyah. Um, if you see my hand rocking, it's because I'm rocking her in the rocker. But anyway, I noticed that my vibe, my mentality um, started to feel a little bit better. And I just decided to stop being depressed. I think that was the moment that I decided to overcome all of this, that this mentality wasn't leading me anywhere. The mentality that, okay, so what they say, grovel in your filth or just to wallow in sadness. And that doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't make me feel good. I didn't have a good mentality of what was going on. Um, I didn't I didn't feel good. That's what it boils down to. I didn't feel good. And I think in order to get out of problems, the first thing we have to do is feel good about ourselves. And so if there's anything that I want to say or, impress upon your mind is when you're going through some shit, when you're going through fucked up times, the best thing to do is to stop, take a shower, take a shave, wash your hair, cut your hair, do something, clean the house, make up the bed, start getting yourself busy. Change your immediate environment. Change your immediate environment and it will change uh, the way you perceive things. Most times I've realized that if I was depressed, my room was untidy or the house that I was living in was untidy. I noticed too that when I woke up to a clean house, I felt better. And so, in order to fix this situation, in order to properly be mentally prepared for any situation, we have to be in a clean environment, nice environment. Um, you have to feel good about yourself. That's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate aim. That's what I learned in the last few hours, to feel good about myself. and that this situation that I'm in, it doesn't define me. I have the power to define that situation. The circumstance doesn't have any power over me. I have power over the circumstance if I choose. And the best way to choose, um, the best way to choose is to be proactive. And the best way to get proactive is just by starting with yourself, then dealing with your room or your house or however you're living, and get it all clean, get it all tidy, get it all organized, get it in order. And then you started to build up momentum. So now you can deal with the things that have to do with outside of your house. And I honestly feel like the momentum is changing. Um, we got a, uh, we're still in the process of trying to get some help, trying to get the water on, trying to get the rent paid and not face the eviction. But for right now, this very second, I feel good. I feel not 100% good. I'm not even going to sit up here and lie to you, but I feel a lot better. I think if you look at the other previous videos that I've done prior to this video and listen to the tone of my voice, I felt it sounded down. It sounded monotone. And now I can hear it within myself. My voice is coming back. My spirit is coming back. I'm not 100% there yet. I'm not sure what percentage I am right now, but I know I'm a lot better than I did before. And for all of those out there who are struggling, just like how I'm struggling, for all of us who are, don't know where your next meal is coming from, or you don't know how you're going to pay your rent, or your lights are off, or your water is off, or you don't have enough gas to get to work. I mean, I've gone through all of these things. Um, the first thing I want you to do is go take a shower, shave, cut your hair, do your hair. If you're a lady, put some makeup on, put some clean clothes on, clean up the house, clean every nook and cranny, organize everything. Make sure your immediate environment and your body, you feel good. Put on some music, some upbeat music, and start to. Um, in doing that, it will change your whole perception. And in doing that, you'll gain enough momentum to tackle the other things. Um, I'm not telling you to escape from reality, because if you've been reading my blogs, the written blogs, um, you know that running away from reality only makes things worse. And I've learned that by personal experience. And on that note, I want to say something about smoking weed, because there's a lot of us, a lot of young black minorities and whites, everybody's out there, and we're all getting messed up. We're getting fucked up. We're getting high. We're smoking weed. We're doing ecstasy. We're doing coke. We're doing a lot of things. And I personally believe that that is bad, because it prevents us from seeing the reality. And most times, you only get a reality check when you're not high, when you're sober, in that little brief moment of being sober. And you're so used to not dealing with reality that the first thing you want to do is get high again and escape the reality again. I know, because I smoked weed like every day for like the last 15, 16 years. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just once a day, it was like maybe like 4 or 5 times a day. I don't know how motherfuckers could be broke all the time but still find ways to get money to smoke weed or do their drug of choice. It never made sense to me. But when you're clean and sober, I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what I want to get across to whoever's out there listening, really, to be honest with you. Um, to be clear headed, to be clean, to be sober minded, and to change your immediate environment. In order to change things, you have to start with the small things. Bathe, put on some clean clothes, do your laundry. A lot of people say that they live in a clean house, but in reality, a lot of we're not. I don't want to point the finger at anybody, but I've been to a lot of people's houses. I've and most people, you know, it made the living room may look clean, but when you go to the bathroom, you'll see. Well, if you go into their bedroom, you'll see. And it's that has a lot to do with us being depressed on a national level, probably. You feel better when you see a clean house. I know personally I don't like living in the ghetto because when I go to rich neighborhoods or affluent neighborhoods and I see all green areas, it makes me feel good. I like to see green. And so if we apply this in our homes, we like to see clean things. We like to smell nice things. We like to look nice and feel good about ourselves. And this is totally up to the control of us. That's what I realized. Now, I might do a blog later on tonight or maybe tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I gotta do one. It's my job, right? But you're gonna see me clean shaven then. Not clean, but shaved. I'm looking kind of scruffy right now. I'm gonna cut my hair because I'm a barber. And what I want you to do, if you're feeling down and you're feeling out, take my advice. After this video is done, after you finish reading the blog, go take a shower, do some laundry, shave, cut your hair, do your hair, put on some makeup if you're a lady, or if you're a guy and you like that type of thing. I don't know. But the main thing is to make you feel good about yourself. Because the only way that we're going to get out of the situations that we're in is by actually changing our mentalities first so that we can change the things. See, because thoughts produce actions and actions produce circumstances, and that's undeniable fact. That's the truth. But the only way we're going to change circumstances is by changing our actions. The only way we're going to change our actions is by changing what we think and how we feel. And in order for us to produce good in our lives or good things in our lives, the things that we want, we have to do and think good. We have to feel good. That is so important that we feel good. If it's only one thing that you can find about yourself that makes you feel good, just use the hell out of it, you know. And before long, you'll notice that there's a few more good things that you probably overlooked. But the main thing that helped me and I want you to utilize for yourself is to feel good about yourself. That is step number one in order to change the circumstances that we're in. We're suffering. We already know that. Let's not dwell on the suffering. If we live in a shack, let that be the cleanest, neatest shack that we have. If we only have one pair of clothes, let that pair of clothes be cleaned and pressed every single day. If you only have one pair of sneakers, clean those sneakers. Go out presentable. If you can't afford to get a haircut, ask one of your friends to cut your hair for you. Keep clean shaven if you're a guy. Do your hair if you're a girl every day. These things make us feel good about ourselves. And when we feel good about ourselves, then we can actually have the power to change the circumstances and situations that we don't necessarily like and that are afflicting all of us, like being evicted, not having any water, any power, any money, lights, television, clothes, the things that a lot of us are doing without. But I think that if we change how we feel about ourselves and we change our immediate environment, change our clothes, change our hair, change the things that we can change right now, I honestly believe that the next thing that will happen is that you will see opportunities. Now, there's only one way for me to prove that. It's for me to actually do it and then document it so you can see it. I'm not a preacher or a motivational speaker. What I am is a person just like you going through the same shit that you're going through. But I just got tired of going through it and I've determined within myself not to go through it anymore. And you don't have to either. So read the blog, enjoy it, tell a friend about it. I think there's a share button on the bottom. Share it with some friends. And thank you for listening and keep on following my blog. Thanks. Bye.